This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back with Kyle and Mike as they talk about growing canola in Kansas.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Mike Stamm. Mike is a canola breeder, has been a canola breeder for a number of years at Kansas State University. Mike, how long's it been?
It's been 11 years, believe it or not, and never would have thought I would be working with a crop like canola, but I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun.
You were the first.
No, actually, I was the third at K-State. Yeah, the first lady was there just a few months, and then my predecessor was there about 10 or 12 years, and now I've been carrying on for the last 11.
I had no idea that canola had been bred that long out here. Of course, in the northern part of the country and in Canada, it's been a crop for a long, long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, they've been growing canola in the northern plains in Canada since really the World War II era, when they were using the oil for military purposes, really. And now, they've developed food grade canola, and that's really what we're growing now in the southern plains, is the winter version of canola.
And let's talk about what's different or why we need to be breeding just for this part of the United States and not just use seed from up there.
Well, we grow winter canola for the same reasons why we grow winter wheat in the southern plains. Winter canola is typically higher yielding. Typically, we have higher oil content in winter canola. That's not always the case because of the weather conditions that we grow canola in some years. But you can see the same advantages between both wheat and canola, why we grow winter canola versus spring canola.
There was really a huge propensity to raise canola in Oklahoma a few years ago that all of a sudden just kind of stopped. What happened there?
Well, as you know, we suffered through some pretty difficult weather conditions there, late 2000s, drought. We had flooding rains. We had some late spring freezes, some issues at both establishment and then also at harvesting when it was too wet to get the crop out of the ground. And so when times get tough with the alternative crops, a lot of times guys will go back to doing what they know how to do, and that's growing wheat. And also at that time we had a lot of $6, $7, $8 wheat, and that, when things are going good with the crops that sometimes it's hard to diversify. But now that we've kind of seen the commodity prices come down on wheat, there's some pretty significant incentive to grow canola right now.
From what I've seen, though, it's not something you just go out and plant and don't do a lot of planning ahead of time.
It is a management intensive crop, and there's generally a learning curve with the producers that aren't, educated on the right production practices for the crop. So, when I talk to new growers, I really, recommend to them to get some information and kind of learn about the intricacies of growing winter canola, because it can be challenging. It's a small seeded crop. You need moisture at establishment because you need top growth to get through the winter. It doesn't overwinter like wheat does. Its growing point's always above the soil surface, and so you have to have a right amount of growth to get it through the winter. Planting date's critical, and then your harvesting at the end of the season is a little bit different than wheat sometimes.
We're visiting with Mike Stamm. Mike is a canola breeder for Kansas State University. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, be sure and stay tuned for the history of yield grade in cattle production.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.